Catching up with head coach Anders Sorensen. Anders, how's the week of practice been? How's the couple of days off been? You get back from Manitoba and now refocusing for Milwaukee and Cleveland. It's got to be nice to have some downtime looking at what the schedule holds ahead of you.
Yeah, it was good to have a couple of days off. It was spirited practice today, so that was good.
Well, speaking of spirited practices, I mean, you didn't get the results you wanted in Winnipeg, but it's nice to kind of turn the corner quickly. You got Milwaukee and Cleveland. Now that you're moving into what's going to be the last month and a half of the season, I'd imagine you want that killer instinct, that battle attitude, but that lightheartedness to work into your game. What have you seen from your group here these last couple of days?
Yeah, like we've talked about it, it's a playoff mentality right now. So every game we're going into has, we've got to play like it's a playoff game, and that's when we're at our best.
And then in doing so, last game against Winnipeg, you got off to a great start. You had a couple of leads, but the game just slipped away a little bit, allowed the opponent to battle back. What needs to happen now? You're going to see similar reactions to Milwaukee in a similar situation, Cleveland in their division, similar situation. So it's going to be playoff hockey coming from the other side too.
Yeah, just a focus and understanding that every shift, the game's on the line when you're stepping over the boards, and just making sure you're paying attention to details. That's a huge part of it. And if we do those things, we're usually a very good team.
Guys like DJ Buzzdecker had a pretty good weekend. Mike Hardman had a good weekend as well. These seem to be guys that you lean on a lot when the game's on the line. What have you seen in their games recently that you'll continue to push them moving forward?
Competitiveness, willingness to battle, willingness to stick their nose in there everywhere on the ice has been their biggest attribute.
This time of year too, you get trade deadline talks, you get all the the ifs of teams trying to make moves, get better, get themselves over that hump if they're a bubble team. IceHogs are kind of in that same situation, bubble team. How do you keep that drive going both on and off the ice for your crew?
Yeah, and I think we're focused on what we can control, right? And that's just winning the next game, having a good practice, winning the next game, and I think the guys are doing a good job of that.
You mentioned the spirited practice. Who has really stood out to you when it's not game time? Who's been the one that's really been putting in the work that you don't see on the ice there?
That's a great question. I think as a group they're pretty good at it. I think they enjoy each other's company, but they like to battle each other too in practice. So I don't know if it's certainly one guy's, but I think as a group they do a good job of competing hard in practice.
Do you see that translating into games, or is it sometimes you kind of just lose a little bit of focus there?
Yeah, I think for the most part of games, yes. There is times where we had some, mental lapses, and that's what we have to make sure we correct here going forward.
And for a guy like Isaac Phillips, who's been up and down, a guy like Wyatt Kalnick, who's been up and down, what do you say to kind of keep those guys focused on what you need to do down here, but also know that they have aspirations and are getting looks from Chicago as well?
Yeah, I think they know the games down here matters, if they're getting called up or not. So I think they want to play at their best all the time, and they've been pretty good about it, though. I mean, it's not easy for them sometimes, but they've been good at staying on task and coming to the rink every day and trying to get better.
And last one for me, just obviously this is in the middle of your 5-game road trip. How nice is it to kind of get away from Rockford, to kind of get these guys together on the road, bus trips, whatnot, hotels, and really get that camaraderie, especially knowing that you have basically 6 or 7 weeks left in the season?
Yeah, no, it's good. I think like I said, they're a good group. They like each other. They have a lot of fun together. It's always more fun when you win, but I think that they're enjoying each other as company off the ice and on the ice.
Looking ahead, Milwaukee Friday, Cleveland on Sunday and Tuesday. These are teams that you've seen. Cleveland maybe not as much as the Admirals, but what's the battle plan now moving forward? You know the X's and O's, you know the expectations, but what's going to be that X factor to kind of keep the IceHogs moving in the right direction?
Well, like we said earlier, it's just knowing the time of the game, knowing the situation of the game, knowing that the game is on the line when you step onto the ice. That's the biggest thing for us.